There are over 1,000 games on the Quest store, and it can be hard to keep up with what's actually worth playing, but I got you. Today, I'm highlighting 10 hidden gems that deserve more attention because there's some seriously good VR games out there that are just a little bit more harder to find. Now, there are some rules for the games that made this list. They needed to have a rating of 4.5-ish or above and under 1,000 reviews on the Quest store. And I think there's some cool games on this list that maybe you haven't heard of. So let's dive in. If Blade Runner had a VR game, this would be it. And this is what made me want to make this video. Metacity Patrol is an open-world cyberpunk sandbox game on Quest standalone, and you're a law enforcement officer in a sprawling, rain-soaked, futuristic city. And the moment you load in, you immediately get those Blade Runner vibes with all the tower blocks, the neon signs, the flying cars, and the rain-slicked windows. The atmosphere is just awesome. And it does definitely have more of a low vibe, but it helps create that grungy retro aesthetic. Gameplay involves patrolling the city from your air car, and the cockpit is fully interactive. Every switch and every dial and every navigation control is physical, and you fly between districts and respond to calls, pursue suspects on foot and in the air, and scan buildings for illegal activity, and uncover a developing story about a synthetic resistor group called Root AXS. The city has over 100 distinct locations, and the developer, a small independent team, is still actively updating it. Open world VR experiences like this are rare, and what Metacity does that almost nothing else on Quest attempts is give you a full living city and let you inhabit it as if someone who actually operates within it. When you land your air car and step out into the rain-slick street, that transition from pilot to pedestrian is something flat gaming just can't replicate. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really follow the quest because I got so distracted just exploring the city. In one district, I discovered a subway station, and then I bought a ticket, hopped on the train, and then rocked up in some other district that was all like Japanese theme. It was really cool. And it's not a finished game, the developer is transparent about that, but as an early access cyberpunk world to get lost in on standalone, this is unlike anything else available right now. And it's only $10, and of course, using code Naysy will get you 10% off all your Quest games, or using the links down below. Now, if you haven't heard me go on and on about this game already, I won't stop raving about it because it's made by one developer, which is super impressive and I just love it. Quantum Void is a retro-futuristic sci-fi Metroidvania, and every inch of this world was made entirely by hand. You play as an engineer whose fleet gets scattered across an unknown star system after a dimensional anomaly. You wake up alone, picking up faint signals somewhere out in the dark, and from there the game splits into two modes. You've got ship piloting, where you fly around your welding tug ship between the scattered wrecks in open space, and then there's on-foot exploration inside the derelict vessels, where you're hacking terminals, reading dead crew members' emails, and crawling through air vents, and maybe fighting off some aliens. There's something about being able to physically interact with everything in VR that just makes it feel so special, and this game delivers on that. And you can really tell that so much love and care has gone into this game. I absolutely love the retro visual aesthetic, and all the li-fi lighting, from the CRT-like terminals to the brutalist ship interiors, gives you very much like that 1980s science fiction vibe. It's very like the Alien universe or Dark Star, and it's completely distinctive. And for under $12, this game is definitely worth supporting. Plus, it has different endings. Now, I've never heard of this game until I was researching this video, and as soon as I saw it, I knew it would be awesome. And again, this one was built by a single developer, and it has a 4.8 rating on the Quest store. Compound is a randomized roguelike shooter with a retro pixel art aesthetic. You're working your way up through a corporation's tower, blasting through enemy guards in procedurally generated levels. The inspiration is classic 90 FPS games like Wolfenstein or Doom, but translated into VR with physical reloading, real weapon handling, and free roaming environment. And each run is different, and weapon unlocks carry over between deaths, so failure always feels like progress, and the difficulty is definitely challenging, and so it's not a casual experience. And there's something about the combination of the retro aesthetic and the physical VR interaction that just works, whether you're physically ducking behind cover or physically reloading. And when it's all wrapped up in this bold, chunky visual style that completely stands apart from everything else in the Quest library, it just feels so nostalgic. It also throws you straight into the action, which I love. I had a blast playing with this game and was surprised I'd never heard of it, but now you have too. And it's $20 in the Quest store, but it's also available in Steam. You might have seen the Exit 8 game floating around as a PC game or even as an upcoming movie, but it went briefly viral a couple of years ago. But I reckon the VR version, which is available on Quest for under $7, is the best way to experience it. I feel like no one talks about this game. I personally really love it. The premise is as simple as it gets. You're in a Japanese underground metro station, which is a pristine and immaculately lit corridor, and a salaryman walks towards you. He passes you and then disappears, and then you loop around again. And the salaryman walks past you again, and you loop around and it does it again. And when I first played this game, I had no idea what was going on, but it's kind of like those liminal spaces games, and the game only gives you one sign with instructions. But essentially, you have to loop around, and when you see an anomaly or something different, you need to stop and turn back the other way. And you gotta keep doing that until you spot something different again, and you gotta turn around the other way. And eventually you make it up different levels to exit 8. And the anomalies can be something minor, like a light fitting slightly out of place, or it can be like a full jump scare, terrifying moment or something. I really enjoyed this game. I think in VR, this game just becomes way more immersive and terrifying. And it does a great job of creating that unsettling atmosphere, and each playthrough is different. So for under $7, it's a great psychological VR horror game that I think most Quest owners haven't even heard of. Now, this is a game I fell in love with many years ago, but since then it's come to the Quest store, and I feel like not enough people appreciate the technical achievement of this game. Eye of the Temple was built entirely by a solo developer named Rune Skovbo Johansson, and what he built is something every VR player should try at least once. In Eye of the Temple, you're an explorer navigating an ancient temple, and it's very Indiana Jones. There's torches, rolling boulders, spike traps, narrow bridges over dark drops. But here's what makes this completely different. You don't use artificial locomotion. There's no thumbstick movement, there's no teleportation. You navigate the entire world by physically walking in your room. And the temple is designed around a modular scrolling system, so the environment moves beneath you. And then it brings the next section forward as you step across it. And you feel like you're inside a vast, ancient structure when you're really just in your living room. And what's cool is that you never run into anything. It's meant to constantly reset you back into the middle, and it's quite a trippy experience. And I think VR has been promising that physical presence since the beginning. Eye of the Temple is one of those few titles that actually deliver on it. Physically ducking under a swinging blade is what VR is all about. And when you step over a dark void and find yourself on a narrow bridge, you find yourself balancing, and even when you don't need to, it's just a very immersive experience. And if you have the space and you're willing to actually move around, it's one of the most memorable VR experiences you can have. Now, if you like VR puzzles like The Room or The Mist, then this might be for you. The House of Da Vinci VR is a puzzle adventure set in the 16th century Florence. You play as Leonardo da Vinci's most promising apprentice, summoned to his workshop only to find that Leonardo has mysteriously disappeared. Your job is to solve a series of increasingly complex puzzles to piece together what actually happened. This game was developed by Blue Brain Games, the studio who also made the original House of Da Vinci mobile series. And this VR version was made from the ground up especially for VR. And the game runs about 5 hours, and it also won the NYX Game Awards in 2025 for the best VR title. There's also a see-through mode where your gauntlet reveals hidden gears and secret writings behind the surfaces. There's lockboxes, war machine, room escapes, and the puzzle design is intricate and satisfying. But what makes it special in VR is the tactile interaction. You're physically picking up objects, turning them over, slotting pieces together, and the puzzles were designed knowing that someone would be physically handling them, and you can feel that intentionally in every encounter. Plus, it looks pretty stunning on the Meta Quest. This has a 4.7 rating on the Quest Store and 949 Quest Store reviews, so it sneaks just under our 1000 review rule. And if you love puzzle games and haven't played this one yet, it's an easy recommendation. This is one of those games that when you play, you think, this is genius. We Are One is a time loop puzzle shooter where you defeat waves of enemies, but not by fighting them all at once, but by recording your actions and creating clones of yourself that replay those actions in perfect sync. You enter a room, you see enemies, and you record a sequence, usually shooting an enemy and placing the gun down. Then you move to another location, and then you step back in time, and then your other clone may pick up that same gun and shoot another enemy or something along those lines. So you kind of just keep replaying the sequence and working together with your previous clones to create a coordinated action, if that makes sense. The clone mechanic works because VR gives you a physical spatial awareness. Like when you record a path and watch a clone walk it, you're watching your own body language play back in it. So if you do a little dance, you'll see yourself doing that dance as your other clone. So you need to remember where you moved, how you moved, what you were thinking, and it creates like this strange loop of self-recognition that feels very unusual. It's kind of like the last Clockwinder if you played that, but less complicated and less story-driven. But I think this game is a gem and it's only $10. I absolutely love this game, and after everything you've seen so far, Garden of the Sea goes in a completely different direction. This game is a cozy VR gardening and exploration game developed by Neat Corporation, and you have your own little island where you till soil, plant crops, befriend animals, cook food, and explore the surrounding sea in a little red boat. The visual style is bright and cel-shaded, which is very Zelda-inspired, kind of crossed with Stardew Valley, and there are no fail states, no time pressure, or no combat either. You also get to unlock more islands as you explore, each with their own character, and there are light puzzle elements and even some mythical deity encounters which kind of feel like a nod to Wind Waker. There isn't really another game in VR that scratched that gardening sim itch for me, and I really wish there were more because I love this game. And just like petting the animals and watching your garden grow or drifting out in the boat, it's just a very peaceful experience in a way that not a lot of VR experiences deliver on. This one's definitely on the cozy side, and I'm a big fan, and it's only $10. This one is a newer game, but it's a very fun, quirky gem. Game Dev Simulator is a brand new game from a developer called Jasper Seed, and you're a new hire at a fictional game studio called Mundane Interactive. You show up to an office space where everything within reach is fully interactive. Every object is physical, and your job is to help build a video game. There's also some fun Easter eggs in this game that are worth looking out for as well. The concept is perfectly suited to a VR headset because you're physically inside a game development studio while sitting at a desk, and you physically reach out and use the mouse or pick up the phone, and it's the kind of immersion that only VR can deliver on. And there's a lot of humor in this game, and it's just a lot of fun. It's kind of like Job Simulator, but more adult, and you're making video games instead of smoothies. This is a genuinely charming game, and it's only $10 and rated 4.9 on the Quest Store. Now we're finished with the most unusual game on this list, and that's Café. It was created by Demon Reimer, who was one of the co-creators of Job Simulator, and Job Simulator was one of the games that showed people what VR interaction could actually feel like. Reimer spent years understanding what makes VR special, and Café is what he built when he decided to push that understanding somewhere new. The premise is you're in a coffee shop at the edge of the galaxy, and around you are a series of robots, each with their own job, their own personality, and their own strange little problems. One wants to quit working at a sprocket factory, where another wants to book you in for their podcast. And what's unique about this game is that there's no dialogue trees or button prompts. You just talk, and the robots can listen and understand the context of what you're saying, and remember what you said earlier. So the whole thing is running on a large AI language model, so there's no controllers required, just your voice and your hands. I think this new concept of having an actual conversation with an NPC feels very foreign, but also kind of exciting. And it can be really fun to see how far you can push it, and it's surprisingly advanced at how well it understands context. You can even ask for a poop milkshake with chocolate sprinkles, and then we'll make it for you. This is an early glimpse of what NPC interactions is probably going to look like in 5 years, and for $15 on any Quest headset, you could try it now. That's my top 10 hidden gems, and every single one of them pass the same 3 rules: available in Quest, under 1,000 reviews, and rated over 4.5-ish stars. And if you played any of these already, let me know in the comments. And if you find one you haven't heard of before, I'd love to know which one. Links to everything are in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.